Hello everyone, Bashrov here. Welcome to Great Bear School of Construction. In this series, you'll learn all about pushing Safehouse customization to its limits. We'll start with the basics today and eventually work our way up to much more complicated projects, such as fixing the cannery bridge or making a custom fishing hut, all of which is possible without mods. But there's a lot to cover, and today's episode assumes you know nothing about Safehouse customization at all and are just trying to get started. Before we start customizing, we'll need woodworking tools. There's only 4 sets of woodworking tools in the game, with 1 in Ash Canyon, 1 in Bleak Inlet, and 2 in Zone of Contamination, though one of them is inaccessible until you complete most of the Buried Echoes tale. The next step is choosing the interior to customize. Almost all buildings can be customized, with a few exceptions such as the Stone Church and the Ryken and Desolation Point. Caves cannot be customized, though on Safehouse customization release, it was briefly possible to customize certain parts of the hub cave in the Far Territories due to a bug, letting you make quite a unique Safehouse. Though that's long been patched now. You know an area is customizable if you can enter building mode. Besides the obvious use this mode has for building, it's also useful for navigation in the dark. Exiting building mode also saves your game, which is particularly useful in buildings with no loading screens, as previously you had to sleep or pass time to save the game. It's possible to exit building mode without saving the game. If you did something you wish to undo, just exit the save instead of exiting the building mode. Regardless of which building you pick for customization, the first thing you'll want to build is the furniture workbench, as it's required to build vast majority of craftable furniture. The bench is pretty cheap and fast to make, but it is heavy, so make sure you craft it inside the safe house you wish to customize. Once the furniture workbench is built, all other furniture can be built as well. They all serve a different purpose, some of them are purely decorative, others actually help you survive. Note that when you build most furniture, it does not go straight into your inventory. Instead, it gets placed in the furniture workbench, which has its own storage, but the storage button is easy to miss as it doesn't appear when the workbench is empty. One of the most useful things one can build is the meat curing box. The box lets you cure meat or fish, which are better than cooked meat in pretty much every way. Cured meat is lighter, has no scent, and decays slower. It's also guaranteed to be parasite-free regardless of your cooking level, so it's a great use for predator meat. Cured fish are even lighter than cured meat, but note that you lose all vitamin C as the fish jerky does not have any. Each fish cures into just one piece of fish jerky, regardless of fish size, so it's mostly just useful for smaller fish, such as the goldeye. A constant supply of salt is required when curing meat regularly, and the only 2 ways to get more salt is the trader or the salt deposits, but both are available only in coastal regions, so curing lots of meat away from the coast is not always practical. The new bear bed is also insanely good. In case you don't know, different beds in the game have different stats. Besides bonus warmth, some beds let you recover more condition when sleeping than others. And the bear bed is the best bed in the game when it comes to condition recovery by far. Previously, there were 4 bed tiers, the lowest one being just bedrolls, and bare bedroll being in the 2nd tier, along with most other beds in the game. Certain bunk beds in trailers and a few select places held a bit more than all other beds. And the trapper's bed healed more condition than any other bed in the game. But the bear bed is even better than the trapper's bed. Not only it heals almost double condition compared to most beds, it can be built almost anywhere, letting you take advantage of greatly increased recovery in any region. This is only balanced by the fact that bear beds are some of the costliest furniture to build, but the benefit is very much worth it regardless. The other 2 craftable beds don't offer any extra condition recovery and are in the same tier most other beds are. Most of the remaining furniture serves as storage or is purely decorative. Out of all the storage options, a few stand out. Rustic storage boxes and trunks are some of the cheapest to build. The trunk is the fastest one to craft and has the largest single container storage capacity at 35 kilos. Most larger furniture can hold more, but they're split into a bunch of smaller drawers, which can be annoying if you're just trying to store a bunch of sticks. The box can hold a more modest 15 kilos, but only costs 8 cedar, making it the cheapest form of storage by far, and it's the only craftable storage that can be picked up and moved between safe houses. For the highest overall storage capacity, you'll want rustic closets, which let you store up to 80 kilos, though the storage is split into several smaller containers and it's quite pricey to build. Customizing a safe house is a very time-consuming process, so you'll likely have to deal with cabin fever in one way or another. The easiest solution is to pick the settled mine feed, but if that's not an option, you'll have to spend at least 4 hours per day outside. If you're customizing a building with no loading screen, you have another option though. By placing the furniture workbench near the exit, you can craft furniture while standing outside, which will be considered time spent outside and thus help lower cabin fever risk. If you're customizing a building with a loading screen, this trick is sadly not an option. However, you can still just ignore cabin fever until the risk pops up and take advantage of caves instantly curing cabin fever risk. Simply entering the back part of any cave should remove the risk and you should be fine for roughly 1 in-game week. Maintenance Shed Shack in Broken Railroad and the Stone Church in Desolation Point count as caves for this purpose as well and can instantly cure cabin fever risk. The shed can even be customized and is the only customizable interior in the game where cabin fever is not an issue at all. And the last option is to just ignore cabin fever completely and live with it, as it actually doesn't prevent you from crafting furniture. The only things you cannot do with cabin fever are sleeping and passing time, so if you have a stash of caffeine pills or healing food, you can just power through cabin fever and keep crafting furniture. That should be all the basics you'll need to get started with customization. Thank you for watching.